Actually can't believe that photo. That's disgusting. I can't believe I took that. It's your time. I'm like checking if I'm lined up. Just being safe. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you do not know who I am, my name is Ed. I'm a Melbourne-based photographer, videographer, and small business digital marketer. So basically, I'm unemployed right now. Just messing around with you guys. Today we're doing Creative Challenge Day number 5. If you're just joining in now, I've done a series of creative challenges over the last week or so to try and push you guys to get as creative as possible during this time of crisis, for lack of a better word. Today, we're gonna do a nice, simple, easy one. I know that it can be hard to motivate yourself to go out and shoot like I've been encouraging you to do with the previous ones, but this one is really simple. Might make you cringe a little bit, but it is simple. We're gonna go back into our old photos, re-edit them to see if we can improve them. So for me, while I was a little bit bored the other day, I was scrolling through all my photos that I've been through in Lightroom, photos from like a year ago, 2 years ago, and some of them were just like awful edits. I'm sure like we all look back at our photos and realize what we were doing back then was not good, and you almost get like a little bit embarrassed to send that to clients, but I had to look through them and I realized that I've learned so much over that period. I was wondering if I could salvage these photos in the edit to make them better and to this sort of standard that I'd be sending out now. Obviously, it's a good thing to look back at your photos and go, they look terrible. Hear me out. If you're not looking back at your photos, in my opinion, and thinking they're horrible or they're not really my standard at the moment, then you probably haven't grown as a creative. And I think one of the best things about this art form is that you can see quite vividly the growth that you have through the years because you've got a digital record, or maybe a film record if you shoot on film, of everything that you've done over the past few years. So I reckon that's really cool. So for me, looking back at my work and cringing a little bit is kind of like a signal that I'm actually on the right path, I'm doing the right thing. So while it did make me cringe, I did feel kind of good about it. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna move all this stuff. I'm gonna pop into my computer, I'm gonna re-edit 3 photos, see if I can salvage them and make them a little bit better. Hopefully, we can whip something up that doesn't look too bad and something that I'd be happy with right now. So let's do it. So here we are. I've picked 3 old photos of mine that I've edited in the past, and looking back at them, I think they're okay photos, but I probably edited the shit out of them and ruined them. And this is, I think, something that a lot of rookie photographers, not that I'm the most professional person going around, but I think especially with rookie photographers, you tend to overdo it a lot. So what I've been doing over the last few weeks has been teaching myself new ways to edit both photo and video, and I stumbled across an editing technique for me that I really like. One of the struggles for me as a photographer has been finding my style, and I know that is quite a common struggle with a lot of photographers. So that's been really difficult for me. I knew the direction I wanted to go, but the actual technical know-how of how to do it was not something that came to me until recently. So that's been really awesome for me. So I'm gonna apply all of that into this and see if I can't save these images. So jumping in, we have got 3 images here. So what I'm gonna do is duplicate all of them. Bang, bang, bang. So we've got our original here. I'm gonna go Shift R, set all these back to what they were, and see what we can do. So we will start with this little tide pool one because I don't actually mind that too much. Usually now when I am editing, I will go straight into my presets and see what I've got. That one's probably way too muted. That is way too much. Okay, I reckon we're gonna go from scratch with this one. So what I really like about this one is if I can bring down the highlights, bring up the saturation a little bit for one. I think it'd be quite a nice moody shot, but for me, a technique that I've been diving into and something I've always sort of tended to lean towards as I did my landscape photography was shooting into the sun. I don't know what it is, I really like it. I like the way that you can see the shadows and how the light and the shadows sort of play together. With this one, I know I love that little rock pool. So one of the biggest things I've been doing recently is actually taking my photos into Photoshop. For me, for a lot of my clients, I don't actually tend to do this, genuinely because this is like an extra step to the editing process that I don't like to add on. If I'm doing a shoot for a cafe, I usually promise up to about 100 photos. So if you're gonna do that and go through every single one, for my price bracket, it tends to not be worth it. So for me, unless I'm really, really trying to push a really good photo or do some sort of fashion photography, you won't see me in Photoshop too often. But I have been learning this new technique For me, it's called the Orton technique. It gives this really like nice, dreamy, moody sort of vibe to your photos. I'm gonna apply it here, see if I can make these photos look better than what they were, compare them to the old ones, and then we'll see how we go. So I'm gonna like zoom through this editing process, guys. If you'd like to see the Orton effect, if you like these photos, I can do and explain a video on this for you at a later date. But for this, I'm gonna zoom through editing all these photos up, and then we'll have a look at the befores and afters, and then hopefully I'll be able to see what you guys come up with, and I'll be with you in a minute. All right, we are done, guys. I don't think they're too bad. Obviously, the change was actually like way less different than I thought. To be honest, I thought, not that I haven't progressed, I thought the changes I would make would be much more different. What I have noticed is the changes that I do are quite subtle. So if you have a look at these two photos here, there's not a huge amount of difference. The first one, this is the original one here. It's very like bleached and probably a bit sterile for me. I don't really like that. This one's obviously a lot warmer. It's really playing towards those greens, and I've tried to use that blur effect to make the water look nice and dreamy because it was a sunset shoot, so I like that kind of vibe. This one was by far the worst one. I have zero idea what I was going for here. It was gross. I don't know why the fuck I thought that teal would be such a good idea. That is much better. For one, it's natural. Like, you can get purples in the sky like that. You do not see blue in the sky like that. That's one of the things I've really noticed about landscapes is you can't really push them too far. You can't get crazy with the colors. Like with cityscape and all that, you can, because there might be a bright, you know, there might be a teal neon, so you can get away with it. So that was interesting. It's like really interesting to go back and think of yourself and like, what were you doing? But this one was always like a nice shot. I always really liked it. I think looking back at it, I probably pushed it too far with the original one, trying to mute it. I think I like the more natural style and the more contrasty style I've gone for with this second one. And obviously we got that purple through the sky again. And I really like the silhouettes. I've always liked the silhouettes in this photo because I just think it's really nice. Obviously at this time, with everything that we're going through, this is a photo that I took last summer. And it's nice to be able to like look back at a time where all the craziness wasn't going on. It's just like a nice little moment in time. It's like street photography meets landscape. So I really enjoy this one. But I think my other edit, the second one, it just looks more natural, the way I'm seeing like the light go through the clouds and all that. But it's actually a really interesting experiment for me. This wasn't like as drastic as I thought. I thought I'd be coming into these photos that I've taken and just being like, what the fuck was I doing back then? Only this one. But it wasn't as different as I thought, and I genuinely thought I'd be a lot worse. What I have noticed is there's a lot of subtleties that have changed. I have like looked at photos in the past, I was like, that's just disgusting. I've destroyed the image of what I've done. But it was really cool. It was cool to apply these new techniques I've learned into old images. And while I haven't like saved them, I'm definitely better at photography now. Look, I'll show you some photos last week of the sunset. Those compared to these, like it's not even close. But it was interesting to see if like the edit can save an old photo. So I'd say no, but I'd say it does improve it. So it's actually quite a bit of fun for me to do that. Obviously I rushed through these edits. I could have spent an hour on every photo, but I didn't want you guys to sit there and watch it. My challenge to you guys is pick 1 or 2 photos of your old photos, re-edit them, use the hashtag ISO challenge and tag me in it at EdWisher. Instagram will be somewhere down here. And I want to see what you can do. I thought this was like really fun to go back, walk down memory lane, especially like some of these photos taken just from a different time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got some value out of it. Like I said, if you'd like to see me apply this Orton effect, you can see it better in this photo. If you'd like to see how to do that, let me know, leave me a comment and we'll get that done. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. If you have gotten this far, I would love a like, a comment and subscribe. Comment below if you think your style has changed majorly over the last year. If not, let me know what thing you're trying to learn now. So Thank you again, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope you're having an awesome day. Stay safe, stay sanitized, and stay social. I'll speak to you again soon.